Alright, haulers, hello and welcome back to City Skylines. So, we are back in Avalonia today. We just completed some massive upgrades to our road layout that are going to kind of lay the future lines for what we do and what we create. So, I'm not really sure where I'm going this episode. We're just going to see what comes at us, see what we can do to solve it. The first biggest thing here is before we go any further, I want to hit the next milestone, that way we can unlock some of this other stuff. And we've done it! So there we go. So now we get a bunch of new awesome stuff. New taxation policies, we can unlock a new area, so I'll probably unlock that area to move the industry down to. And then we get a bunch of policies and some brand new zones that we can work with. However, I don't know what these do. I've never worked with them, so it's going to take me some time to figure out all that stuff. Automated toll booths, so that will be awesome. Industry 4.0. Obviously, when we get industry in here, like the proper DLC, that's going to be a whole nightmare. But we're going to start with this stuff. Let's see what we can do and play around with some of this. Alright, it is now daytime. I did the little tax thing. We brought in a bunch of money, so I have more than enough to work with here. So I'm going to start laying out those secondary roads I was talking about that come down through this area and that come down through this area. The next big step from there is going to be actually laying out commercial zones and getting residential cleaned up. And I'd like to, before we're done, set up some high density commercial zones here along the waterfront and kind of in this area. I think basically after this line coming down here is all going to be not commercial, but I'm probably gonna do something where it's just basic residential kind of down in this area. And that way along this area we can have those bigger entities, you know, stuff like that. But one step at a time. So we're gonna go ahead, we'll start with that, and I will see you guys when I'm done.
Here's burning up, now the sun gone down. Lights in the distance, a forgotten town. No, no, no way. Oh, I'm on my way, so stand on the edge of the world with me.
Alright, and we're back. So, I've laid out the first major overhaul spot. You can tell just how different this whole area is already. This is mainly a residential zone, and the way that it's built out is in order to have access to everything. In this case, each one of these has an elementary school and a health clinic, so that each one of those is taken care of on that front. They share a high school, and then down here they share a fire station, a police station, and a university campus, all located right on the waterfront. Up here will come straight across like this, probably connect to this main road, and in this little area will be a little space for the landfill sites and that sort of stuff, hopefully. I'm hoping once we unlock the... Oh, and we just unlocked another achievement. Once we unlock the... And we lost basically all of our population, by the way. Over half of it. So we're kind of rebuilding now from what we have. And if I really wanted to, I could probably take power and turn the budget for everything right down. We're going to do that real quick. Alright, well I've set the budget for everything really low so that hopefully, cross your fingers, as we kind of start rebuilding with the new layout, it'll all start to flow together again. I'm hoping people will start to actually move in. I need to, if I was smart, zone out some more of this area so that people will. Alright, well I've managed to avert a few crises, but our city is kind of in turmoil right now. I mean, half of it disappeared overnight, it's all new, everyone's adjusting to it, everyone's flying everywhere. Yeah, it's just been one crisis after another. We just filled one landfill, so I've got to go through and we've got to try and get to a point. I don't know, I don't think I've unlocked it yet. I have unlocked it. So we'll set up an incineration plant in that little industrial facility once we get the opportunity to. But for now, it's just a waiting game. We just need to let everyone get to a point where they're moving back in, our population gets back up to size, and I'm kind of hoping that... I don't know what it is, too. I think we need to work more on spreading out power. It seems like over distance, you can't send power over a certain distance. Like, you still need to have power and, you know, supplies like septic or water, they need to be nearby the actual locations, because apparently, at least as far as it seemed to be, setting power lines up after a certain distance, they just weren't connecting anymore. So, like in this case, all of our power stations were down here, and this stopped working once this all got set up, and I don't know why. So I've temporarily built one right there that we'll just have to remove, and you can see just the wires just everywhere from trying to get this thing to hook up and run. But you can see it's working. We're definitely bringing in a lot more people now, which is awesome. I think that's going to get changed out with a little roundabout here. So let's go ahead, let's do that real quick. Alright, I went ahead and I fixed up this little roundabout here. I also removed the bracing from this one from when I was working on it. Didn't realize I had it still set up. Oh man, all the industry's gone. We don't have a need for it anymore anyway, so most of that will just get removed. But this is all fixed up and clean. All of the arrows and stuff are proper. Same here, everyone knows, you know, you come in here, you yield to the people that are already in the roundabout. Hopefully that'll make a huge difference to getting this place back up. You can see commercial has taken off by quite a bit. We don't seem to have as much residential moving in for whatever reason. I don't know why, but I'm hoping people... I mean, you can see people are starting to move in, I assume because there's not much for amenities or all this. This whole thing's just a mess. You can see what the clean and organized format of the city is going to be from now on, so hopefully one step at a time we'll get to a point where that's all done and fixed up. I think what I'm going to end up doing is this isn't going to be industry anymore. I don't know for sure. I'm going to have industry up here for these guys, and then I'm considering... I mean, it's a good spot here. I think I might split this half industry on the outside and then commercial all on this inner part, maybe. I don't really know. I kind of want to just see where it goes for right now, because obviously we don't have a need for industrial. We have a big need for a commercial. Or at least a medium demand for it. This here, I don't know how I'm going to split it up. I might take another road like this and run it up through here so that these all have their own thing. I don't know. Just to split them up like that. I don't know if I'm going to do the same format the whole way down. Part of me would like to, but I don't know quite how well that would actually work. And what'll end up happening is, you know, the metro will run under here. I think I'm going to end up having stops at each one of these and then buses for individual stops on the inside. That way people can get in and out. They can get over to what they need. You can actually see one of those cop cars responding now. That's awesome. But you can see, like, all the services are right next to each other now. So hopefully that'll work a little bit better. You can see all the garbage trucks doing the transfers. Everything seems to be going mostly okay. You can see a lot of people walking now too, which is nice. I, of course, removed all the zoning. Few services. I don't know exactly what that means. It doesn't really matter, because you all are going to die anyways. So that doesn't really make a difference to me. So we're just going to, you know, eventually we'll go through, we'll remove this whole area. I don't know if the pollution naturally dissipates. If it doesn't, then we've got a little bit of a problem on our hands. So we'll have to see. Part of me wants to build a giant wind farm up here, and that way we don't need the coal power plants. And then I'm gonna assume if I have an incineration plant that I don't need a landfill, but I don't know for sure. This whole section here is basically done. It has everything it needs to survive, except schooling potentially. I guess in theory, if I wanted to, I could probably connect up these roads, which might be a good idea coming out of here, and then we can put an elementary school on each end to kind of cover more. I don't know why that doesn't reach, but a lot of the problem right now that's coming on is because of this huge area that I want to basically trash and be done with. This too, this had a much wider coverage at one point. I think because of our growing city, it doesn't have as big of a coverage anymore. You can see graduated is super low all throughout, and then efficiency is very low throughout. So I got a lot of work to do there. A lot of uneducated people, so we desperately need to get some more education going. But we're going to kind of hold off on that stuff for right now. Let's turn that off. This whole area here, there's a few projects. Obviously, this main road here, I've been really looking at it. I really want to upgrade this as it comes through. You can see, if I can get this positioned right, if this is straight on, that it's not actually straight. This is kind of crooked down this way. It's not actually parallel to this like I want it to be. So eventually this whole area is going to be redone and made better. So what's going to end up happening is I'm really going to leave a huge gap here, down the whole side too, so that we can actually upgrade this. And I'm actually thinking this section here is actually going to just connect up to the highway. So we're actually going to have one highway entrance right here. This one's kind of in a perfect spot because there's this valley here, but I'm kind of considering potentially getting rid of it. I just like having this here, so I think that might stay. And then obviously we have this way to come in, so we'll have kind of 3 major entrances to come into this part of the city. And what that will probably mean is an interchange. Obviously we've got this interchange here, but we also want people to be able to get over here into this area, and this is kind of the main route, so we'll probably have like a road that comes off here and some dotted buildings in here. You can see a few areas like this cemetery here. I need to get the crematorium to get that moved. We can't actually move that yet. This, I believe we can now. Nope, it's emptying right now, so we have to wait for that to empty to move it. And then once it does move, we actually need to set up trash removal for this whole area because it seems as though this is full now, which actually I guess I could probably go ahead and do... Oh, and I should mention too, we put in, I don't know if I've said it already, we put in Green Cities and the Nights one, which is after dark. So now I've got the recycling center, which is what I would prefer to have. This process is twice as much, so we'll need a few of these kind of dotted all across the city, I think. So we'll probably do some kind of mass recycling center, because I want to kind of have this, like, we've got the school here, but I want to definitely make this kind of an industrial park. It's very half-assed right now. Most of this is all half-assed, because it's just thrown in here, so there's something there to prop up our population and stuff and help us earn money. But, you know, things like this where there's a random, you know, random wind thing. You can see anything that doesn't have power, I really just plopped down, a turbine, I don't know what people prefer, but so that those things have power, because this is it over here, and this doesn't reach over, and I don't want to have power lines, so it's just like, whatever, I'll just put that there. But I've kind of done some thinking, this area here, we can't really do much for city building on it. So what is going to end up happening is these water towers are going to come down. We're going to transfer over to using just pumping stations to do our water pumping. And then this whole area here is going to become a wind farm. We're going to do a massive wind farm with winding roads and stuff all through it. And then on top of that, to help kind of prop up the power kind of... So obviously, you know, I've described this, I talked about this in a Euro Truck episode, but when you use wind power or you use solar power, it's not 100% reliable the whole time because wind doesn't blow constantly. Sun isn't always out constantly. I made that sound really dumb. The sun isn't out constantly. So you need to have something there to kind of make up for it in the meantime. And with green cities, we can do that now with a solar updraft tower and with a geothermal power plant. So we're going to kind of put a few of those in too, because my whole goal here is to have this be as green of a city as I can possibly get it. Obviously, industry is going to get in the way of that. We don't have industries in yet, so we don't really know the full extent of it. But if I can keep this running as efficient and green as I can, I would really love to. I think the first thing that I need to do is put in a zone here so that we can enable some laws here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then we will go from there. Alright, so we've painted this a district. I've named it the District of Akicha. If you don't get that reference, well, I'm not going to explain it, sorry. But there's a few things I want to look at here. So these are kind of what we have enabled to us. School's out. Prefer working over education? No, we don't want that. Not worry about prisons. Not worry about ferries. Not worry about tickets. We don't have public transport, which is something we desperately need to work on. We don't have blimps, so we don't have to worry about that. That only uses 100 cents per recycling center per week. That's a good one to have. Well, actually, we don't need that because we don't have it. Nice voice crack that was. Recreational use, why not? Well, increases police budget. I don't know, I think that one kind of cancels itself out. We'll do an education boost. Not going to worry about parks yet. That is something that we should do, though. So I might add in parks in these areas here. Smoking ban. Not worried about it. Definitely recycling. So yeah, so I think we've got that all set up as I want it. I think that will do. Looks like we have a fire here. Fire department's right across the street, so don't know why it's not showing up, because only one truck is in use, which appears to be coming from the other fire station, so that's kind of weird. You would think it would pick automatically whatever station is actually closer, but it looks like it's actually coming from all the way down. Oh man, I love those trucks. Yeah, I love the sirens and custom stuff on there. But yeah, so I think what I'm going to do is we're going to go ahead, I'm going to start laying out this roadway and get this set up.
Photo of you in my mind, on the table under lights. There's no one here but you and I. This neon town is yours and mine. And I said, hey, Carissa. Stayed up through the days and night, lay and we watched the world get light. Hey, Carissa. Sunlight, freedom in your eyes. Please don't leave now.
Alright, so I've got this whole side laid out. I still have to run power, and I still have to run water and stuff, obviously. But you can see how I've got it zoned here right now. This is what this side now looks like. As usual, like I did over here, it has its own dedicated schools, its own dedicated fire department. There's an elementary school at each end, the high school, and a park here. The medical, police, and fire are all down here. So this is kind of like the municipal area and slash commercial. There's commercial all along the outside of this, and then the entire interior of this area is residential, so that we have plenty of areas for residential to move in. I'm going to go ahead real quick. I'm going to set up the water, I'm going to set up some power, and get this all ready for people to start moving into. I lied. I already have water set up from when we originally built the city, so I guess that's good. So I guess it's just power then. I also need to remove this stuff. I did take the water towers down. Basically, power is it, but I don't know how I'm going to quite run power up here. It might actually be a good idea to start working on the wind farm. My whole idea for this wind farm is to... I want to have a little area here, potentially, like an industrial area or something like that. I want to have a road that comes up here. I might even do it so there's a little access road here. Like, you can see this little divot, so it runs up and around. But I kind of want to dot windmills up here, so we have kind of like, this area can't be used for housing and stuff. It'd be a perfect spot to have a wind farm and stuff, and obviously we can expand into this area when we buy this later. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start working on that, and then we will go from there. Alright, and there it is. We have now a fully functioning wind farm. It's more for looks than anything. Obviously, the power generation adds a boost to the city. Excuse me. Still getting over... I'm not sure if it's a cold or allergies. I still haven't figured it out. Probably not going to the doctor unless I get to the point of death, so... whatever. But probably allergies, so... I do apologize. But yeah, so couple of big things over here. This will now help to funnel power into our new residential area, and that'll be awesome. It's completely green power. All of our industry has moved over here. Looks like we got another fire going somewhere. You see all of our rigs going, and I do have a few mods in that change the lights, that change the siren. You shouldn't be here, cat. I love you. Hi, yes, it's nice to see you. My cat has just jumped on my lap. Scared the hell out of me because it is dark in where I'm... Oh my god, my whole thing's going up. What the heck? Also, why is the fire department still coming from the other station? Can someone explain that to me? Why is it that it doesn't selectively choose, like, see, he's coming from over here. He's coming from this station, not coming from this station where they should be. So if anyone knows why, please let me know. I'd like to figure that out. Oh god, my cat just started falling and clawed me. Hi. I gotta deal with the feline real quick. And I should clarify, I did not just pull an Alinity and yeet my cat across the room. I gently set him down on the floor like a responsible adult. Take notes. Yeah. Rip. So this is kind of where we're at here. I'm going to pull out of that view. I don't know why I worded it that way. That was a bad idea. So we've got our district of Akicha here. It is up and running well. Eventually, I'm going to come in and do all the fine detailing. Right now, my main priority is just getting kind of the generic stuff set up. So even this here, this has all these roads are like automatically named, but obviously in real life, you wouldn't really name these like this. They're probably like Access Road 1, Access Road 2, or something like that. So eventually I'll... Oh, and they've all turned. That's hilarious. I love that they turn with the wind as time goes on. But eventually I'll come back and change some of that, and I think I might end up expanding it out so that it's kind of out and around this whole area. I did kind of notice that, like, right here would be a really, really cool spot. Like, there's this little spot here that would be very cool to kind of have, like, a river or something that kind of ends up flowing down and coming down through under and then heading out to sea or something. So maybe that's an idea for a future thing. I desperately need to just take and run a power line as much as I don't want to. I'm going to turn on this so I can see here. I don't know if this even produces enough. Oh, just come on, just one building right here. That's all I need, and then that whole thing's connected right up. And the nice thing too is it's right next to the toll booth, so now the toll booth is powered even though it's out there in the middle of nowhere. Well, I guess we'll just run some power lines for now until we get all this up and going. That should solve all of it. And it has done exactly that. But I think that's going to go ahead and do it for this episode. If you guys enjoyed, you know what to do. Go ahead and leave a like. If you didn't, you know what to do too. If you really liked it, go ahead and subscribe. I'm uploading 5 days a week. And if you really like my City Skylines series, I upload it every single Friday. As always, I will see you next time. Peace.